What's going on, guys? I'm Venom, and I was doing that because I was thinking about what I'm about to talk about. But before I get started, I'm here. Yeah, I hope you've been surviving your Venom withdrawals. That's a joke. I'm not that full of myself. I'm not full of myself at all. Anywho, Venom 2 Man, yours truly, is going to be working with a radio station. You heard that right. Did you hear? You want me to repeat it again? Is going to be working with a radio station. Urban Nation Radio. That radio station is going to be amazing. I'm going to be working with them. I would love it. I would really appreciate it if you guys went to their Facebook page, hit that like button on the Facebook page. Check out their Twitter. Follow them on Twitter. It'll all be in that description. Check them out. I'm going to be working with them. Yes, moving on up. Moving on up. Anyway, check out my Facebook page, Venom 2 Man, and check out my Twitter, Venom 2 Man, and follow me on the Instagrams, Venom 2 Million. Yes. Now, to the topic, to this video. I love Venom, okay? Venom is an amazing character. He is an amazing character to me. Just the idea of being, he's like the opposite of Spider-Man. And I really like that. Like, I always like the idea of the symbiote, right? And this Venom is just something about him. I don't know. I really like it. It's not just because he's black, you know. That was a joke again. It's something about the character, right? I really like the character. He's like the opposite of Spider-Man. He's so menacing, and then he has control. Eddie Brock has control, but then again, he doesn't, and he kind of likes not having control. And when he does have control, he's still like I don't know. I think that's the reason why I like him, because he's so complex. That's why I like Venom. That's why I want to see him handled correctly in the movies, because my love for the character, right? Now, if you've been watching, if you're a long-time viewer, if you watch my videos, if you've seen things, if you saw my Amazing Spider-Man Part 1, Part 2, you know, Spider-Man 2, Part 1, Part 2, my own story, I introduced Eddie Brock in the second one, right? My own. And by the way, 3 and 4, 3 has been made for 3 weeks now. Part 3 was made 3 weeks ago. Never uploaded it. Because I need to edit, and I'm going to refilm some things. It's very long, too. That's a part of it. Part 3 by itself is 40 minutes. What? 40 minutes? It's a part 3. It's not done yet. And it introduces Electro and everything. Introduced so much. So I'm going to upload that soon. I got to edit it, though. I haven't touched it. Filmed it 3 weeks ago. I haven't touched it. Anyway, in my own story, I introduced Eddie Brock in the second movie. In the second one. And I introduced him as an MMA fighter. Now, I did this for a reason. First of all, that way he would be big and buff for a reason. Not just because he loses his girlfriend, the love of his life. Even though I think that is deeper, and that is within my story. I'm just spoiling my own story here. That is within my story. He loses his girlfriend. And that goes into his tipping over the edge. I make him an MMA fighter. I make him have fighting experience for the first reason, him being big already. The second reason, him having an advantage, an edge over Spider-Man when Eddie does eventually become Venom. I give him that MMA fighting title, that knowledge of fighting background. That way, when he does become Venom, he can beat Spider-Man. And it can be for a reason other than him just being mad at the world. It can be for a reason, because he has this skill, because he already has knowledge of fighting. Spider-Man has knowledge of fighting. He does it every day. But so does Eddie. And Eddie is trained. Eddie is trained. That's a reason why, in my story, Eddie Brock is a fighter. He is an MMA fighter because he's skilled. That way he has an edge to Spider-Man. Now, us as the Spider-Man, us as the community, us as fans, we love Venom. We want to see Venom on the big screen, but we want to see him handled correctly. And by the looks of things, we may not get Eddie Brock, if not the entire Daily Bugle in this second movie. There's been hints of it, clues dropped, especially with the viral marketing with Eddie Brock writing an article and J. Jonah Jameson writing an article. You know, there's clues like we are going to see the Daily Bugle, and then there's also no glimpse of the Daily Bugle, except for in the trailers you've seen the Daily Bugle's Tumblr in the background, and in pictures we've seen Daily Bugle. So we don't know whether or not we're going to see Eddie Brock or the Daily Bugle at all in the second movie. I feel that they need to introduce Eddie Brock as soon as possible to get that relationship between Peter and Eddie to actually mean something. They are or were friends. Make them friends and then turn them into enemies within 2 movies, within more than one at least. From the looks of things, we may not get that. We may get it, but we may not. My question is, if they do introduce Eddie in the third movie, is the plan to make him become Venom in the fourth? Or to become Venom in his own movie? I mean, I don't understand. Maybe it's because it's years early. You know, it's early. We're really far off from seeing maybe Spider-Man 3, 4, and the spinoffs. We're far off. We haven't even got 2 yet. 2 comes out in a few months. We haven't even got 2 yet. And maybe I'm rushing things, right? But I'm just thinking about this. When are we going to see Eddie become Venom? How will he become Venom? I am a big fan of Eddie Brock becoming Venom. I am also a big advocate of us seeing Eddie Brock's family being tied to Peter Parker's family via Oscorp. Because it, to me, makes perfect sense. There's no reason to do anything differently. It's already set up perfectly for Eddie Brock's parents to have worked at Oscorp along with Peter Parker's parents to, and to them both to had created the suit. It works perfectly to me. So, if they do have Eddie Brock become Venom, which I believe they will, because Dane DeHaan himself in an interview, when asked, are you going to be Venom? Dane DeHaan says, I thought Eddie Brock was Venom. He says that. And maybe he was just being sarcastic or, joking around. But, that's that. Dane DeHaan even knows. No, Eddie Brock is Venom, right? So, when are they going to introduce Eddie Brock becoming Venom? When are we going to see that? When are we going to see Eddie Brock be Venom? How are we going to see it? When are we going to see Eddie Brock? I want to see Eddie Brock in the second one, but most likely we're not going to see him. In the third one, we'll probably see him. And I'm thinking, when and how will we get Eddie Brock become Venom? How would he become Venom? In my own story, I'm going to spoil some more of my own story. Eddie Brock and Peter in the second one are really close friends. They're really good friends. And in the third one, after Gwen's death in the second one, at the end of the second one, Peter then becomes overtaken by the symbiote. I'm just going to spoil my story here. I'm going to spoil it a little bit, okay? I'm not going to go into detail. He becomes overtaken by the symbiote, almost when he cannot control himself. But Peter has so much dark emotions, and he feels so dark that the symbiote is able to latch onto that and feed upon that from Peter, right? And as I said in the second one in my story, Peter and Eddie's friendship is just climbing up. It's just climbing up. They're becoming best friends. In the third one, with Peter going through this dark struggle, then his life starts turning around. Things start crumbling upon himself. Things start just changing and shifting for Eddie's life. Things are changing and shifting. Peter's becoming darker because of the symbiote and because of him blaming himself for everything. And then he becomes filled with hatred and revenge. And then Eddie is becoming darker because his life is turning upon itself. Everything that he'd worked for, everything that he built up it starts crumbling down. His relationship starts crumbling down because of, I'm not going to say why in my own story. I'm not going to spoil that much. Because of things happening. His relationship crumbles. His career crumbles, both as a MMA fighter and the Daily Bugle photographer and journalist. Everything starts changing and shifting. And then, because as a result of both of these two people having so much issues and so many problems in their own life, then they become distant. Their relationship becomes like kind of rocky. Eddie may ask Peter for help. Peter, he's in a dark just dark place. He doesn't want to help Eddie. He doesn't want to be around Eddie. He doesn't want to be around anyone. He just has one goal, one thing in mind, and that's revenge for the death of his girlfriend. Eddie's going through so much things at once, so many things at once that it's crumbling. It's eating him alive. It's eating him. And then eventually, Peter and Eddie's, both of them, they cross paths, right? Both of their problems cross paths. Peter is, like I said in my own story, he's being manipulated, and not being manipulated, almost being manipulated, but he's being egged on by the symbiote. The symbiote is feeding upon these emotions, right? As I said, that Peter and Eddie's parents they both had created the symbiote. They both, or in my story, they both worked on this alien life form that is the symbiote. It's a parasite, though. You know, that's the reason you find out. That's the reason why it was put away, and Norman Osborn was going to use that parasite for other things. Anyway, so you know, Eddie Brock and Peter's relationship, both of their struggles they intersect, they interchange. The symbiote interchanges, right? This the big thing. The symbiote creates this like intersection between both of their problems. Both of their problems meet, and somehow, I'm not going to go into much detail, Eddie ends up with the symbiote, and Peter doesn't have it anymore, right? And then with that symbiote now, Eddie is he realizes problems that have happened were because of things maybe that happened with Peter. Maybe Peter, you know, he is the problem, one of the biggest problems that Eddie is facing. Maybe it was because of Peter. He figures that out because of the symbiote, right? And then that causes the confrontation, the hatred for Eddie to go for Peter, to go for Spider-Man. That causes the hatred, the sense of betrayal, all of these emotions, all of these problems that stemmed from this one thing. And who created this one thing? He finds out was Peter, and that would go with the hatred, and that would go with all of these emotions, all of these problems that Eddie was already struggling with. On top of that, the symbiote egging him on, and that would go with the hatred and the problems, and Eddie would go, would go to kill Spider-Man. Now, I don't know, in my story, I'm still trying to debate whether or not that would be the fourth one, or whether or not that would be the Venom movie. But I just, I was just thinking about that. Like, how are they going to get Eddie to become Venom? How are they going to do that? How? And I just started thinking about how I would do it, how I'm going to do it in my own story and all of that. So yeah, I was just thinking about that, and I just want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about that? How would you handle Eddie Brock becoming Venom? I was very vague. I left out details. Like I said, in my story, I've planned to do Amazing Spider-Man 2, 3, 4, and the Venom movie. I don't know about Sinister 6. Bump that right now. Right now, I don't know about that. But I plan to do that. And like I said, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Part 3, 4. I probably would do 5 too. I don't know. From how it's looking, I'm going into a lot of detail in these videos, like the videos like Part 1, 2, 3. So I think it's probably going to be 5. That may be the last one. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do that. Then after that, I'll get started with the Amazing Spider-Man 3, how that would go in my story. Then do 4, and then the Venom movie. Because I have this whole story already figured out in my mind of how I would do it. Not necessarily how I think they're going to do it. It may be how they'll do it, but, you know, more or less, if I was in control, how I would do it. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Eddie Brock, how would he become Venom? As I said, like, imagine all these emotions he has, right, for Peter, right? And then it will be a reason. It'll actually be a reason why Venom would be a great adversary to Spider-Man. Because not only does he know everything that Spider-Man does, everything that Peter does, every way that Peter thinks, the way Peter thinks, but he would also have an upper hand in terms of strength and in terms of fighting. Because Eddie, in my story, would, you know, he's a fighter. He has the skills, he has the knowledge, he has the training of fighting. So he would be a great adversary to Spider-Man in terms of all of these things that I just mentioned. How are they going to do the adversary thing? How is Eddie Brock going to be a bigger adversary to Spider-Man? How is he going to be? How? I just don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is just a question I'm posing. What do you guys think? Let me know in that comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching. I always just love it when you guys watch my videos. I love it when you guys share them. I love it when you guys hit the subscribe button. 5,000 subscribers. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. I was offered the opportunity to be on television talking about diversity in comic books from the stream. I couldn't make it though, but it was just the opportunity. Just thank you all. I'm so grateful for everything. Like, thank you so much. Yeah, we're growing, and that's great. That's great. I really do appreciate all of you subscribing. I really do appreciate all of you watching. I really do appreciate all of you. People said, do a Q&A, Venom. Do a Q&A, Venom. You want me to do a Q&A? Fine, I'll do a Q&A. Leave me questions also in the comment section. But leave me questions in the comment section below, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow me on all those social networks. I post regularly on Instagram, Facebook. We have discussions. You know, it's just, I thank you guys so much. You don't know how happy I am to be where I am, and thank you. Thank you. Make sure you check out Urban Nation Radio. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I am Venom saying comment, rate, and subscribe. Peace out. I'm going. And I did this all in one take, yo. One take. Peace, guys. Love you all. Peace out.